The morning began like any other. I poured myself a cup of coffee, opened my laptop, and logged into our law firm's banking app to approve parole before heading to court. Our employees expected to be paid by noon, and I had never missed a payroll in 12 years. Then I saw it, one red line stretched across the top of the screen. Restricted hold at first. I thought it was a glitch. I refreshed the page, logged out. Logged back, and the red line was still there. My heart began to pound. The payroll account held nearly $480,000. Money reserved for salaries, taxes, and client-related operating expenses. Yet every transaction button had disappeared. Wire transfers were disabled. Payments were frozen. Even viewing pending transactions was blocked. I immediately called the bank. After 10 minutes on hold, a representative answered politely, but sounded nervous the moment she pulled up the account. "I'm sorry, sir. I can't discuss the restriction. You'll need to speak with our compliance department. When they'll contact you, I have 82 employees expecting paychecks today." "I understand, but there's nothing I can do." The call ended. For the first time in my legal career, I felt powerless. Within an hour, my office manager walked into my office, carrying a stack of worried expressions. "The payroll company says they never received the transfer. Tell everyone there's a temporary banking issue. How temporary, I don't know." Words spread faster than wildfire. Paralegals whispered in hallways. Receptionists checked their phones. Associates quietly wondered whether the firm was collapsing. By lunchtime, I still had no answers. Then my personal phone rang. A blocked number. "This is David from the bank's Financial Crimes Division." Financial crimes, my stomach dropped. "There appears to be unusual activity involving your parole account." "I haven't touched that account except for parole." "We know then what's happening. We're investigating transactions connected to another institution." "I don't understand. I'm afraid that's all I can say." The call ended before I could ask another question. I spent the rest of the afternoon reviewing every financial record from the past 6 months. Every invoice matched, every payroll report balanced. Every client trust transfer was perfect. Nothing was missing, nothing was suspicious. Yet our account remained frozen. Late that evening, my senior partner, Richard, stopped by my office. "You look terrible. The bank froze payroll." His expression changed instantly. I explained everything. Instead of looking shocked, Richard became strangely quiet. Too quiet after a long silence. He asked only one question. "Did compliance mention my name?" "No." He nodded slowly. "Good." Then he walked away. That single word echoed in my mind all night. Good. Why would he ask that the next morning? Employees began calling. Some couldn't pay rent. Others had mortgages due. One young associate quietly admitted she needed her paycheck to cover her daughter's surgery. Every conversation felt like another weight on my shoulders. Around noon, compliance finally requested an in-person meeting. I drove to the downtown branch expecting paperwork. Instead, I was escorted into a private conference room. 3 people were waiting: a compliance officer, a regional banking executive, and a federal investigator. No one smiled. The investigator slid several documents across the table.
"Can you identify these transfers?"
They were wire transactions totaling over $3 million. I stared in confusion. I've never seen these. "They originated using credentials connected to your firm's banking profile." "That's impossible." He leaned forward. "That's exactly what we're trying to determine." Every transfer had occurred late at night. Every payment was directed to shell companies overseas. Every authorization appeared legitimate, yet I had never approved any of them. The compliance officer then asked something unexpected. "Who besides you has administrator access?" I answered immediately: "My senior partner, Richard." The room fell silent. The investigator made a note. "When was the last time you reviewed administrator permissions?" I assumed nothing had changed. He turned his laptop toward me. There on the screen was a list of authorized users. My name, Richard's name, and a third administrator. Someone I'd never heard of. The account had been active for nearly 11 months. 11 months without my knowledge. I felt sick, the investigator explained. That someone had quietly added the administrator during a software migration. Every major transfer required dual approval. One approval came from Richard's credentials. The second came from the unknown administrator. Mine had never been used. That meant someone had intentionally bypassed me, while leaving my name attached to the account. Richard had handled every banking update during that migration because I was recovering from surgery. I had trusted him completely. The investigator finally spoke again. "We don't believe you're responsible." Those 6 words felt like oxygen. But until the investigation concludes, the restriction must remain. I left the bank emotionally exhausted. As I reached my car, my phone buzzed. A message from Richard: "We need to talk. Don't involve anyone else." I stared at the screen for the first time. I realized this wasn't simply a banking error. Someone inside the firm had been hiding millions of dollars in fraudulent transactions, and the person asking for a private conversation was the one man who had always insisted he was like family. I didn't reply. Instead, I forwarded the message directly to the investigator. An hour later, federal agents arrived at our office. Employees watched in stunned silence as Richard was escorted into a conference room. No handcuffs, no dramatic scene, just quiet conversations behind closed doors. By sunset, he was gone. The investigators later confirmed that Richard had secretly partnered with an outside financial consultant who created fake vendor accounts and routed money through international shell companies. The scheme relied on forged digital approvals and unnoticed administrative changes buried inside routine software updates. Because the bank's fraud detection system finally connected the pattern across multiple institutions, every related account was automatically restricted, including ours. The parole hold was lifted 3 days later. Every employee received full pay, along with an apology and a bonus from the firm's emergency reserve. Many asked how close we had come to losing everything. I told them the truth: we almost didn't lose the money. We almost lost our trust. That lesson changed our firm forever. We implemented dual independent audits, outside cybersecurity reviews, and mandatory approval verification for every financial change, no matter how small, because sometimes the most dangerous threat isn't the stranger trying to break into your business. It's the familiar face already holding the keys.